Hey guys, it's Mr. B. I want you to go find number 13.4, lesson 13.4 called Reasoning in your math packet and get ready to review what we talked about yesterday. And I'm going to show you a few online games you can play that I'm going to attach to this dojo message. And maybe you can try them out and showcase some skills with me. So go get 13.4 and a pencil and all your supplies or whatever else you need, an eraser, and then we will get started right here, right now. So see you in about 1 minute or so. All right, that was about a minute. Hopefully you paused it and got all your supplies. Let's take a look at this paper right here, and it is Journeys from homework yesterday. And we talked about time to the half hour. So guess what Journey did? All of her work correctly. So if I look down at number 1 and number 2, which is where I'm going to start this, it says complete the sentences, then write the time on the clock. Well, the hour hand is between what numbers? Journey said 3 and 4 because it's not 4 o'clock yet, but it is half past the 3. The minute hand is on the 6, which stands for 30 or half the clock. So you can say half past 3, or you can write it is 3:30. And number 2 is done perfectly as well. So hopefully you remember what we did yesterday with time to the half an hour. So today what we're going to talk about is time to the hour, time to the half hour, but then we also have to think about how would we use that in real life. So while I show you these time games, I want you to think about how you're going to use time all around you. I know at school we use time whenever it's time for us to do circle time or challenge time or quiet activity time or time to go to lunch. We use time every day all over the place, on our cell phones, on our iPads, on the wall, on the phones. We're going to have to think about time and what we know about time, and we're going to have to reason with it, which means to think about it and try making sense of it. So I'm going to show you 1, 2, 4 games. And the first one is right up here. Yes, I'm still here. I was playing it a little bit. So the directions for this game is called mathgames.com, and it says, what time does the clock show? Well, if I look at the clock, it is pointing to the 6 for the hour hand, the small hand, and then I'm going to put my little colon in there. And the minute hand is pointing to the 12, which means o'clock. I'm going to check my answer. It said great job, so it gives it some feedback. And look at that. The hour hand is pointing to the 11. I put my colon there, and the minute hand is pointing to the clock or the 12. So that's one of our games. Another game is right here. This one's pretty fun, and they teach you about AM and PM, which we did not talk about. So that's okay if you don't know it. So AM and PM. AM is daytime usually, and PM is usually nighttime. So it says set the clock to 11 a.m. Our clock says AM, so let's leave it on AM. And now we have to grab our minute hand and go all the way to 11 a.m. or 11 o'clock a.m. So our hand has to be on the 11, and the minute hand has to be on the o'clock or the 12. This game's pretty tricky. All right, now it says set the clock to 9 p.m. So I have to go to p.m. and then try setting the clock to 9 p.m. That's another game. Here's another game I'm going to show you, and this one's a little bit easier. It's just matching. So look at the clock. This one says 11. So I'm going to drag it up there. This one is in between the 4 and a 5, so it must be 4 something. Oh, half past 4. Put that up there to 4:30, and then looks like you're all the way finished with that one. What do you do whenever you're done? I'm not so sure. Oh, there you go. You hit her, and seems like we can go to the next one. So that's another game. Here goes. This one's a little bit trickier because they give you a couple of different choices. What time is shown on the clock? Well, it's pointing to the 7 and the o'clock. So we just reviewed what we talked about this whole chapter with time. That's what we're going to talk about today, but now we have to reason with it. We have to kind of make it make sense. So let's try making it make sense. All right, Noel has a music lesson at 3:30. Okay. At 4:30, he goes to the library. Man, he's a busy person. He gets ready at 5 so he can have dinner at 5:30. After dinner ends at 6, he plays a game. How can you organize this information in a schedule? Well, first I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you guys can see and help me organize. And we have to organize all that stuff he has right there. I'm going to think about this like a school day. What is the first thing he would do if this was a school day? What time would he be doing that activity? That's right. Look, Noel has music at 3:30. So I'm going to write down that time, 3:30. And then what was the name of the activity he has? Music. I'm going to write as neat as I can. I'm going to write pretty fast. So you pause it and stop it as you have to finish writing it. All right, what does he have next? At 4:30, okay, 4:30. He's going to go to the library. So I'm going to write the activity. He's going to go to the library. Hopefully he's going to get one of his favorite books out to read during this quarantine time. Pause it, stop it, so that way you can write it down, please. He gets ready at 5 so he can have dinner at 5:30. So at 5 o'clock, he gets dressed or gets ready. I'm concentrating, so sorry, I'm kind of off to the side here with my head. I know my handwriting's not perfect. You try writing on a screen, man. And what's after he gets ready? Oh, I see it at 5:30, he has dinner. See how we're making a schedule for Noel? That's pretty cool. He's going to have dinner. And after dinner, it's said at 6 o'clock, he's going to play a game. So you pause it, you finish writing it. Now he has a nice schedule. And maybe you can think about how can you organize this information in a schedule? Well, we just organized it, but why would we do that? Think about that. Why would you do that? I know whenever I want to be organized and get things done, I always make a list, and I sometimes write times down too because I'm a little bit more efficient with my time and I work a little bit harder whenever I have a schedule. So plus, if we all were at school and we were learning about time and we didn't really have a schedule, what if everybody wanted to go to recess at the same time? We'd have 300 kids in the gym or outside in the courtyard. That would never work. So schedules help people stay organized and efficient. So you finish writing that, and I will see you on the next page on the back. All right, and we're back. And it says to use Mr. Diaz's class schedule above to answer the questions. Circle the activity that starts the time shown. Then explain your reasoning. All right, so number 1 is done for us. It looks like for number 1, the hour hand is pointing to the 8 and the minute hand is pointing to the 12 or o'clock. So it is 8 o'clock. And what activity does he have at 8 o'clock? Reading. It says explain your reasoning. So one thing we can do for this one, anytime we're explaining our reasoning, is just say, hey, we looked at the schedule. So I'm going to write, we looked at the schedule. I know my handwriting's a little bit sloppy. Oh man, I'm going into the other answer. Oh no, I'm going to separate it with a little line here so you don't get confused. All right, and then you pause it and finish writing that. We looked at the schedule. And then number 2 says 10:30 on the digital clock. So it must be 10:30 or 10:30. What do they have at 10:30? Oh, I see it right there. There goes 10:30. Looks like they have art. Now, we looked at the schedule can be our answer for number 1. Let's change up our answer for number 2. How did we know it was art at 10:30? Yeah, of course he looked at the schedule, but look at the clock also here. The clock here matches the clock up here, the time up there. So we can say, hey, we knew this was the right answer because the times match. So I'm going to say the times matched. And matched means the same. So I could have used a math term and said, hey, the times are equal. So you pause the video, finish writing that, and I'll see you on number 3, okay? Yeah, this is a very, 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 very hard one. That's right, I said, hopefully you said thank you, and I answered you with, you're welcome from The Rock. Number 3 says, which activity do children do just before the birdwatch? Explain your reasoning. Well, first let's find the birdwatch. There it goes. What activity do they do right before the birdwatch? That's right, they walk. So I'm going to write walk. And how do we know? Well, we checked the nature trip schedule, didn't we? So we can say we looked at the schedule. And if you ever need help spelling the word schedule, usually in this chapter or this lesson, the word schedule is already on there for us. So you can write it down if you can't read mine. Number 4, so you pause it. Please pause, stop it so that way you can finish writing. Number 4 says, which activity or activities do children do after lunch? First thing we have to do is find lunch. So what do they do after lunch? Wow, yeah, they do a couple of things, don't they? First, they, ooh, the sneaky E on that word. They make a birdhouse. So the first thing they do is make a birdhouse. So you please write on the line a little bit neater than Mr. B because I can't. So they make a birdhouse, period. That birdhouse is a compound word. And what else do they do? That's right, they pick flowers too. No, not their nose. They pick flowers. Zaria making jokes. They pick flowers. Now it says to explain your reasoning, and I don't really have a whole lot of space to write anymore, so I'm just going to talk about it. So, of course, you can say we looked at the schedule, but another thing you can say is we found lunch on the schedule, and that's all we did was after we found lunch, we found out what activities they do after lunch. So this is kind of like, we don't have to answer any time questions really. We just have to be really good at looking at the data provided and also kind of make our reasoning. We have to reason with it and figure out, does this schedule make sense? Or, hey, what happens next? Or what happens before? Stuff like that. Number 5 is where we're going to be next, but don't go to number 5 unless you're done with number 3 and 4. So I'm going to pause it so you can catch up. All right, we're back. Which activity starts at the time shown? Explain your reasoning. So what time does it say, first of all? Yeah, good job. It says 12. It's 12:30. Another way to say 12:30 is right, 12:30. So our clock says 12:30 or 12:30. And what starts at 12:30? Yes, I'm going to draw an arrow to it. They make a birdhouse. And how do we know that? Well, because the time that we have here matches the time that we have here. So we can say our times are equal. That's how we solve this problem. There's a couple of different ways you can solve this problem. Our times are equal. But that's the one we chose this time. Of course, you can just say I checked the calendar. That would be okay too, or the schedule. So you finish number 5, and I'll see you down at number 6. All right, guys, test question for you. Who sings that song? Just kidding, that's not your question. Your question is number 6, and it says vocabulary. Circle the time that shows a half hour past 3. So let's see if you can do a half hour past 3 or half past 3. I can't wait to see your answer for number 6. When you're done with that, jump over to number 7 on the back. All right, last page. Let's knock this out. All right, it says family schedule up there, and we're going to do a performance assessment, which means we have to use all the information on the page to get this answer. So it says visiting the city. Andrew's family takes a day trip to the city. Help him solve the problems using the family schedule. All right, there goes the schedule up there. So the schedule's up here. And let's learn about Andrew's family. Number 7 is where we are now. The minute hand fell off this clock. Little cheap clock. All right. What time should the clock show when Andrew's family arrives at the aquarium? Draw the minute hand and write the time shown. So it looks like it's 12:30. So it's going to be 12 something. But where should our minute hand point if it says 12:30? Yeah, nice. It has to show half the clock or point down to the 6. And that's the big hand. So make sure it's pretty long. So now it's 12:30, which means it's 12:30. And look up here. They're going to be at the aquarium at 12:30. So that's what time they should arrive. What time should the clock show when Andrew's family arrives at the aquarium? 12:30. Great job. Now I'm going to jump down to number 8. Andrew writes down all the activities his family is doing at 30 minutes after the hour. How many activities did Andrew write? Explain how you found out. So how many activities are 30 minutes after the hour or half past the number? We just did one, didn't we? And that activity is the aquarium. So that's one of our activities, the aquarium. So how many activities did he write? He definitely wrote one, aquarium. So I'm going to write that one down because that's 12:30. Which other ones are half past a number? Aquarium, comma. Oh, good job. They found that one, 4:30 or 4:30 for C building. I don't know what that means. Is that the name of a building? Are they going to see a building or what? aquarium, sea building, comma, and there's actually another one I think on there. Found it. They're going to do dinner at 5:30 or 5:30. So how did we find this out? Hello, we looked at the schedule. So I'm going to write that. We looked at the schedule. We looked at the schedule. I love seeing everybody's handwriting, way nicer than mine. Sabrina and Zaria and Ava and Journey and Clinton, keep up the good work. Pause it so you can get your answer, and then you're all done for today. Now you have some homework on the next page. Try doing it independently and see how good you are. If you need some help, come find me on Zoom. I'll be here for you. Me and Sabrina were working on our math today, and we did it in about 20 minutes. So easy peasy. Our face is so squeezy. If you don't want to do the homework page, then maybe you can do the reteach page. If you don't want to do the homework or the reteach page, then you better be playing these 4 games up here or get on your iPad. Grade 1, find the time. It's free for everyone. I love you guys. I'll miss you like crazy, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye for now.